only this person you count. We give people a sticker and have them show us. We learned a lot of us have known someone who's lived well into their 90s, and that's a great thing. But even though we're living longer, one thing that hasn't changed is official retirement age. The question is, how do you make sure you have the money you need to enjoy all of these years? This is Kevin, who wants to prove to you that a leave is the better choice for him. He's agreed to give it up. That's today. We'll be with him all day as he goes back to taking Tylenol. I was okay, but after lunch my knees started to hurt again. I gotta take more pills. Yeah. Another pill stop. Can I get my leave back yet? For my thing, I want my leave. Look for the Easy Open Red Arthritis Camp.
The only patch for the treatment of mild to moderate Alzheimer's disease is Exelon patch. Now with more treatment options, Exelon patch may improve overall function and cognition. Your loved one can get a free 30-day trial, and you can have access to nurses. It does not change how the disease progresses. Hospitalization and rarely death has been reported from wearing more than one patch at a time. The most common side effects are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, falls, loss of appetite or weight, applications like redness, and urinary tract infection. The likelihood and severity of these side effects may increase if the dose increases, or if patients weigh less than 110 pounds. People at risk for stomach ulcers who take certain other medicines should talk to their doctor, as serious stomach problems such as bleeding may worsen. Patients may experience slow heart rate. Free trial offer for them, nurses to talk to for you. Visit ExelonPatchOffer.com. Six New York politicians were arrested today, accused of either paying or taking bribes involving the city's upcoming mayor's race. Mary Soch is joining us from White Plains, New York, with some of the details. Mary, it sounds pretty serious, actually. Tell us who is involved and how much money we're talking about behind this. Well, Suzanne, prosecutors say more than $100,000 in cash bribes changed hands in 3 bribery schemes. But at the core of it, the central figure that prosecutors say was the mastermind or was behind the game plan was a key figure named Malcolm Smith. He is a Democratic state senator, a prominent one, had been the president of the state senate at one point, and he's accused of trying to drive his way to the mayoral race next year. And in this criminal complaint that was unsealed today, it is alleged that he tried to pay people off in order to run as a Republican candidate, thinking that was his best shot in next year's race. And the U.S. Attorney says the New York government demonstrates what he calls a show-me-the-money culture.
Every New Yorker should be disheartened and dismayed by the sad state of affairs in this great state. From time to time, the question arises, how common is corruption in New York? I can tell you, based on the cases that we have brought and continue to bring, it seems downright pervasive. But don't take my word for it. Consider the words of City Councilman Daniel Halloran caught on tape in this case. After allegedly receiving a $7,500 cash bribe, he says to the cooperating witness, and you can see it on the chart here again to my left, quote, "Money is what greases the wheels."
Malcolm Smith is expected, along with several others, to appear in court within the hour. His attorney earlier today called him a dedicated public servant, saying that he denies the allegations in that complaint. Suzanne? All right. Mary, appreciate it. Thank you. They go to law school, right? Dreaming of jobs with fat salaries, the jobs they actually get? Waiting tables, folding shirts at department stores, and testing software. Up next.
seem ordinary. Introducing the Acura RLS. With UI LED headlights, precision all-wheel steering, and luxury taken to a whole new level. Introducing new San Marzano pasta sauce from the Silver Palace. Marinara, tomato basil, Diavolo, Marchi Elegante, tomato Romano, Nica Sassy, and low sodium marinara. The Silver Palace uses only whole tomatoes grown in the volcanic soils of San Marzano, Italy, and the fertile Central Valley of California. Only whole field tomatoes, never tomato paste, and no added sugar. San Marzano pasta sauce from the Silver Palace. Elegante. Here I am, folks. 32 pounds better. Ain't it pretty? There's never been a better time to get in shape for summer. I was so tired of looking old, fat, and sick, and I couldn't take it one more minute. So, you know what I did? I ordered me Nutrisystem. Get the body you want right now and save up to 50%. I was overweight, out of shape, and my health stood. So I decided to lose the weight and get myself healthy. And man, Nutrisystem's success is so easy. Open the box, eat the food, lose the weight. You get 5 fantastic meals a day. All you gotta do is eat them. They taste great, and they're good for you. You can get back to your plain weight for less than $12 a day. So hurry, summer's around the corner. Call today and save up to 50%. Call Nutrisystem right now, and you'll be looking pretty like me before you know it.
Injured Louisville basketball player Kevin Ware has now been released from the hospital. That is good news. He is hoping for a quick recovery. You might recall, of course, this is after he broke his leg at last weekend's NCAA Midwest Regional Final. It was so dramatic and traumatic. His team went on to beat Duke, but he is out for at least the next 6 months. His mother says Ware is a fighter and wants to watch his team play right here in Atlanta this weekend, the Final Four.
He's not so much focusing on what happened, but he's focusing on the recovery and he still wants to be there to support his team. And he's embraced us. I have no doubt that he will be back stronger and even better than he was. Like I said, he's had to overcome a lot of obstacles. And it seems as if every obstacle that he has to go through, he becomes a better man because of it.
We congratulate him. Kevin Ware, he got some support from, of course, a guy who knows something about injuries, Joe Theismann, the NFL great, who had a career-ending leg injury on national TV watch.
But everybody I talk to feels like he'll be able to come back and do the things that he was able to do. I told him, I said, you're going to be the NCAA college basketball player, comeback player of the year next year. I believe that 100%. And I believe he's going to be a great contributor to Louisville going forward for the next couple of years in Rick's program. But you have to have a dream. There has to be a reason to get up and go out and go through the anguish and the pain and the rehab.
One of those reasons for Ware making it here to Atlanta. It's not just about the Final Four. It is really a homecoming for him. He is from the area, the Atlanta area, and we, of course, we are wishing him all the best as we follow him here home. Florida Gulf Coast, the Cinderella team of March Madness, did not make it past the Sweet 16, but the coach, well, he's moving on. Andy Entfeld, he has been hired by the University of Southern California as its new head coach. And so Florida Gulf Coast Eagles captivated the nation as the first number 15 seed to make it to the NCAA Sweet 16. And in today's economy, it can be hard, of course, to find a job. So many students, they look at the school's success rate. So if the school says, okay, 97% of its graduates found employment within 9 months, you probably want to apply, right? But what if it's not the whole truth? There are dozens of law school graduates who say that's the case, and they're now suing their schools because they can't find a job. I want to bring in our legal contributor, Paul Callan, to talk about it. So the first blush, Paul, you say, come on, really? You blame the school? Really? But now we're learning that these graduates, they look at the records of their schools, and perhaps they're not really telling the full story about the kinds of jobs that those graduates are getting.
Well, it's very true, and I'm just happy I have a job. So in this market, and I'll tell you why. Because what happened with the law schools is it became sort of a cash cow for the university industry. You put a law professor in front of 25, 30, 300 students, and you charge them $50,000 a year to go to law school. Universities make a lot of money. So what's happened now? In cases, $150,000 in educational expenses. So people are very upset about this, and they're saying the law schools made material representations about employability that were lies, and they're starting lawsuits all across the country.
So talk about that. I mean, I guess the lies aspect of it, because a lot of people think, well, you know, you can't blame the school for the state of the economy if people can't get good jobs, but there does seem to be a case that they have if the school is saying, look, you know, we've got a record number of people employed, but they don't go into the details that they might be working minimum wage or, you know, at a bar or restaurant or something like that, that it's misleading.
Well, that's my,
Where'd you go? Okay, he lost his microphone. Let's see if we can get him back. If not, I can hear you, Paul.
Essentially what was going on was the schools were, I mean, it's just amazing what they were doing. What the schools were doing was, when U.S. News and World Report was doing its survey, they were hiring unemployed law students from their universities as sort of paralegals, so that they could then claim that they were employed 9 months after graduating. Then they would lay them off, and it would look like they had huge numbers of graduates employed. So these people who are bringing these lawsuits, they're saying that's fraud, and we can't tolerate that.
Paul, is there any precedent for this? I mean, do they have a pretty strong case? I think he doesn't hear us. Okay, Paul, we'll let you go there. We're going to circle back and talk about this at another time, but clearly it's really fascinating lawsuits. These students are actually weighing in against their law schools. Another story we're following, a relaxing family vacation might turn into a pretty scary situation. This is for supermodel Heidi Klum, her daring rescue. Up next. Jimmy Fallon versus Jay Leno. A lot of buzz over who's going to win the battle to host the Tonight Show. The West Side Story face-off next.
Welcome to the new New York State. What's the new in the new New York? A new property tax cap and the lowest middle-class income tax rate in 60 years, and $1 billion in tax breaks and incentives. New opportunities for business. Over 250,000 new private sector jobs were created over the last 2 years, and 17 straight months of job growth, with the most private sector jobs ever. Lower taxes, new incentives, new jobs. Now that's news. To grow or start your business in the new New York, visit thenewny.com.
Nothing gets you going quite like the power of Quaker Oats. Today it's going to be epic. Quaker Oats. External rental.
At a Hertz Expressway kiosk, you can rent a car without a reservation. Do you know what that'll run? That's a fast car. It's just another way you'll be traveling at the speed of Hertz. Hillary Clinton's future is our politics leak. She's been out of sight for over 2 months, and everyone's still waiting to hear her plans. What will the Hillary Clinton campaign mean for the 2016 presidential race? The race today at 4 p.m. Eastern on CNN. Manhunt in Texas.
Anything that you people can do, getting our hands on this gun, will be appreciated.
Here's that. It's the Aryan Brotherhood behind the gruesome murders in a Texas town. A first-hand account of what it's really like to be on a seafood picnic. Speaking of tonight at 9.
Experience the grandeur of the new Hibachi Grill and Supreme Buffet. Over 12,000 square feet of the most tasty and freshest food from all around the world. The new Hibachi Grill will please any and all with a huge selection of traditional Asian selections, American and Italian, to the best sushi in town. Best of all, it's just $7 for lunch and $9 for dinner. Come experience the grand opening of the Hibachi Grill and Supreme Buffet on the corner of Staples and Williams, across from Moore Plaza. see we got Leno on there. We got both of them on here, but there is a lot at stake here, yes?
Yeah, you know, there definitely is a lot at stake. Like I said, just basically the future of the franchise is tonight's show. And it's interesting because some people would wonder why would NBC even want to replace him?
Right.
But there's two reasons for this. You know, first of all, the networks are always looking for younger demographics. Second of all, Jimmy Fallon is developing a really strong following online. He does a lot of those videos like you just saw that become viral. Remember the history of rap videos with Justin Timberlake. All of that are kind of things what the network executives seem to think that would help grow their audience. Now, if NBC does replace Jay Leno, you hear about him joke about his options. Yeah, right. Saying in that video there, he's got Fox on the line. Fox does have a late night show. But when are we going to wait for?
There you go.
They get one.
That's where it might be going. All right, Michelle, thank you. Good to see you. The markets are up again, hitting another record. We'll take a look at how to sell your stocks to make the most of your money.
Where's Flo? Anybody know what Flo is?
I don't know. Is this the thing you gave my husband? Yeah, setting a price tool. You tell us the price you want to pay, and we give you a range of options to choose from. Careful, though. That kind of power can go to your head.
That explains a lot.
The power of the name your price tool. Only from Progressive. Let's face it, everyone has their own way of doing things. At University of Phoenix, we know learning is no different. So we offer personalized tools and support to let our students tackle the challenge of going back to school like they do anything else. Their way. Let's get to work.
Closed captioning brought to you by Meineke Car Care Center.
But Matt's race didn't sound right, so I brought my car to Mike. And Mike, we inspected this race for free. Free is good. Free is very good.
Now get 50% off brake pads and shoes at Meineke. Get ready. Anthony Bourdain comes to CNN. Show no boundaries. Get hungry.
Spicy, sour, salty, savory.
Get curious. Get lost. Anthony Bourdain, Parts Unknown. Starts April 14th at 9 p.m.
Come, see, discover the amazing underwater world of the Texas State Aquarium. Tune in to find it on demand, digital channel 988, and travel on a aquatic journey from the shore to the depths of the Gulf of Mexico.
Hi folks, my name's Benny Bales. This is Carly, and this is Blossom and Baby. Two beautiful puppies awaiting adoption here at 3118 Cavernous Parkway, where we have lots of dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All with one thing in common, they're orphans and they need a good home. I'm Jake Tapper. This is CNN.
This is $100,000. We asked total strangers to watch it for us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'll be right back.
They didn't take a dime. How much in fees does your bank take to watch your money? If your bank takes more money than a stranger, you need an ally. Ally Bank. Your money needs an ally. How to Speak Money is brought to you by Ally Bank. Your money needs an ally. Visit allybank.com.
In Northern California, the city of Stockton might be allowed to file for bankruptcy now. A federal judge has approved the city's request in a case that sets the stage for a long battle between bondholders and the California pension system. Stockton is the largest U.S. city ever to file for bankruptcy. Among its creditors, it owes $900 million to the California public employees retirement system. Stock steadily climbing today. That is good news. The market reaching new highs. So how do you know when to sell? Hallie Belshie, Christine Roman's here with some answers. answers to today's How to Speak Money. All right, thanks. Stocks got to a good start to the second quarter after what the technical term for the first quarter, Ali, is awesome. An awesome first quarter. The Dow opened at a record trading high this morning. All this good news begs the question, though, when does it end and when should you get out?
I have an answer. Actually, if I had an answer, I can afford a hair transplant, but most investors have no idea when a rally will end or begin for that matter, which is why you should always be aware of what's in your portfolio and make sure it suits your financial goals. Let me just show you now. Since the beginning of the year, up 11%, the NASDAQ up 8%, the S&P, which I think is more important for most people, is up 10%.
Let's look at what experts say about this particular rally. If you look at the new CNN Money survey of the S&P 500 and where it will be at the end of the year, you can see where it is now, right here. The consensus is not very possible where we are right now. There's some who think it'll still keep going higher. You would have more. Some who think that they're going to take money off the table. But, Ali, this is not much of an advance for the rest of the year.
We're at 1570-ish today. The consensus high is 1581. Look, there's some people who think it's going to go way down. If you're one of those people, there's a way to invest or cash out. There are some people who think it's going to go a lot higher. But if it gets to 1581, that's 11%. That's the average, the long-term average of what the stock market does. So the question is, if the stock market's only going to go up one more percentage point for the entire year, how do they make money?
I know. So what signs, Ali, do you need to look for to know when to cash out? That is the big question here. Consider selling. Many people say the stock is up 20 to 25%. Well, maybe you're almost at parts of your portfolio. No one is ever upset with a 25% gain. There's also, the idea of a sugar rush. If everyone is talking about a stock, it might be the time to get out. Don't always follow the herd.
All right, so read up on companies' quarterly earnings reports. Pay attention to any slip in profits. You can get all this, by the way, on cnnmoney.com. And pay attention to the pessimists. We're not actually pessimists, but Chicken Little's never popular. Sometimes they have a good track record. You might want to pay attention. And if you got losing stocks, don't hang on to a loser forever. Consider selling a stock if it's down 7 or 8% from where you paid and you don't see it going up. Remember one thing, your money in the bank or in CDs will never keep up with inflation. You're not invested in the stock market because you can't just invest and walk away, especially when you're in a high market like this. You have to pay attention and don't be afraid to book profits and sell things when you can. Good luck.
All right, thank you. Each week, Ali and Christine give me a tips on how you can put your financial house in order. You can also check out their book, How to Speak Money. David Beckham, of course, balancing career, parenting, and traveling all at once. 37-year-old superstar sat down with Pedro Pinto, let us in on how life has been since leaving L.A. for Paris.
Without the sacrifices, that's obviously the sacrifice that I have to make as a father and as a husband, being away from my family. It's only for a short time that was difficult being away from the children, being away from the children every single day. But, they understand it. They understand that Daddy works hard.
He works hard. And he says if he's ever going to play for a team for his home country, England, well, he says if there's ever a chance, an opportunity, he's available. Several stories catching our attention today. Photos to take a look at this. This is in Gaza City, a girls-only class in session. New law that mandates separate classrooms for boys and girls starting at age 9, now going into effect. In Bangladesh, police stand guard as anti-government strikes intensify. Today, opposition forces launched homemade bombs and set fires to vehicles inside that capital. And in Nepal, cows now becoming a major traffic problem. Police starting a campaign to round up the cows that are roaming the streets. Pretty cool. That's it for me. Teresa Whitfield takes it from here. All right, thanks so much, Suzanne. Have a great day. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the CNN Newsroom. Happening right now, a frantic manhunt for these 2 Texas inmates. They scaled a barbed wire fence today, forcing 15 nearby schools to lock down. Now a massive search is on for the suspect police are calling extremely dangerous. And
gentlemen, they are both to be considered extremely dangerous. Matter of fact, Tucker is looking at the death penalty in reference to his indictment in 2011 for the capital murder of Bobby Riley, a citizen here in Hopkins County. John King just received 40 years on his charge of evading and I believe burglary charges.
And Mr. Cummings, your area is already reeling following the murders of 2 prosecutors over the last 2 months in a nearby county. One has to wonder, whether there was increased security at your facility just as there has been at many other state and local government buildings and heightened security of civil servants as a whole.
Yes, in regards to that, I've been asked about that also. This is right now being considered coincidence and no relation to that at this time.
All right, Sergeant Brad Cummings, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, the widow of a murder victim is seething after learning the convict who allegedly gunned down her husband was let out of prison in Colorado 4 years early. Colorado court officials apologized for the clerical error that led to Evan Evil's premature release. Police believe Evil killed Nathan Leon, a father who worked at IBM and then delivered pizza on the off hours to earn some extra money for the family. Investigators found a pizza box and delivery uniform in Evil's car. The same car, they say, was used in the murder of Colorado prison chief Tom Clemens.
A simple sorry. In my book, widow with 2 little 4-year-olds. Then I have to go on the rest of my life explaining what happened to their dad, that this could have all been prevented. And it makes me sick, and it angers me something fierce. To sit there and think this all could have been prevented.
Corrections officials say Evil was given a 4-year sentence for an assault charge, a term that Evil should have served after his original sentence, but the paperwork didn't reflect that, leading to his mistaken release. All right, on to New York now. The FBI has busted State Senator Malcolm Smith, who allegedly plotted to fix New York City's 2013 mayoral election. U.S. Attorney's Office said Smith, who is a Democrat, offered bribes to Republican leaders in order to get onto the GOP ballot in the upcoming mayoral race. Well, 5 other people have also been charged in that case. And it's the controversial directive the NRA pushed in the days after the massacre at a Connecticut elementary school. Stop the school shooter by putting guns in schools. Now, 3.5 months after the killing, a task force the NRA set up announced the details on how exactly to do that. The group National School Shield offered 8 recommendations. Among them, a model training program to teach school resource officers how to handle a weapon on campus. Also recommended an online self-assessment tool for schools to figure out their vulnerabilities.
They'll be asked questions on access control. Are classroom doors kept locked during instructional times? Does the school enforce its visitor sign-in and access control? Has the school staff been trained to question or challenge a visitor that's not properly badged?
The group also proposed a pilot program that would not only determine if a student is likely to become a shooter, it would provide mental health services for the troubled student. The father of James Mattioli, a 6-year-old killed at Sandy Hook Elementary, shows support for what National School Shield hopes to do.
I think this needs to sort of be set aside here, and I hope this doesn't, lead to name-calling, but rather this is recommendations for solutions, real solutions that will make our kids safer.
Today's proposals are just recommendations. The National Rifle Association still needs to consider whether to endorse them. All right, Kaufman County, Texas. No new leads in the hunt for the killer or killers of Assistant District Attorney Mark Haskey, on the right, and his boss, Mike McClellan. McClellan and his wife were killed at home over the weekend. Multiple shots. That's what we're hearing today. A county judge says extra security now is in place across Kaufman County.
I can promise you that all of the people in this courthouse, all of the elected officials, all of the other people that are involved in this investigation are being very well protected. I have no question about our safety.
All right, there's lots of suspicion who has dealt with the group and once defended one of its members, Richard Ely. Listen, if you would, to a former white supremacist, a man who is up on this group, he believes that the Texas Aryan Brotherhood is indeed behind these murders. Listen to him.
The Aryan Brotherhood is trying to relay a message that they are not only going to get you if you're behind the wall, but they're going to get their enemies outside the walls. The indictment that happened a year ago to this group really hurt the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas. When the indictment happened, this isn't an ideology battle here. This was financial. They took away some of their drug mules. They took away people on the outside who were supplying them.
Richard Ely, so what's your response to that? What do you think about what you just heard?
Well, I think, Stephanie, that what's going on here is that may be part of it, but I would be skeptical at this point of saying that one particular group was responsible for these terrible shootings. It's horrible what happened to the district attorney and his wife, but there could have been any number of investigations that were going through that office. My experience with the Aryan Brotherhood is I'm currently representing a member in the indictment down here in Houston that you referenced. While they have violent tendencies and commit violent acts, something about the indiscriminate shooting just doesn't seem quite right to me.
Well, what is indiscriminate? I mean, it appears, even though we're still waiting for more details, it looks like these were targets. These were targeted killings involving the prosecutor and the DA.
Yeah, I understand, but I understand that there was an awful lot of .223 ammunition used, lots of shots. My experience with retaliatory or disciplinary actions by the Aryan Brotherhood would have been that they might have dragged the prosecutor out in the lawn, beaten him up, maybe shot him, and left. I'm surprised that the wife was killed. That wouldn't have surprised me coming from some other prison gangs. The Aryan Brotherhood, not known for being particularly nonviolent, they have a violent record, but they do draw the line in some areas. For example, I point out that the Aryan Brotherhood will punish members who use children in drug deals. You certainly don't see that with other prison gangs.
Okay, and again, no correlation and no definitive correlation has been made between the Brotherhood and these killings, but the question is being asked because of the many indictments of some of the members and as it relates to the involvement of the prosecutor and the assistant DA. And real quick before I let you go, if you would, when we talk about and try to understand this Brotherhood group, in large part they are involved in drug trafficking, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of drug trafficking. That's the main financial source for all of these prison gangs. They arise out of some sort of mutual defense desire while in custody, but the money maker for them is drug trafficking.
All right, Richard Ely, thanks so much for helping us understand. I appreciate your time. All right, today is the day. Dozens of Atlanta teachers and administrators are expected to turn themselves in. They're accused of cheating on test scores to help pad their paychecks. And the wrongful death trial in Michael Jackson's death is underway. At the center of this case, one key question. We're live in Los Angeles with today's developments next.